Welcome to the Calgary Sessions. This is episode number 71. I'm your host, Jeff Humphreys. This is the second half of the first ever father-son duo on the Calgary Sessions. So I had the pleasure of sitting down with this fella's son early on in the Calgary Sessions. So to have you on the show, and when people figure out who you are and what you're up to, what you've built is kind of iconic across Canada and definitely in Calgary. So this is going to be a really cool conversation for me to have. So go ahead, name and who you are.
Okay, thanks a lot for having me. Number one, Joe Klassen, son of Michael Klassen. Of course, you interviewed him in number 8.
Yep.
You asked me several questions.
Who you are.
Oh, who am I? I'm an entrepreneur here in Calgary, been doing business since 85.
85.
Yeah.
And what's the one, the main business that most people know?
Well, I started with Joey's Only, seafood restaurants. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I grew that into several forms over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 85. It's 85, hey? 21 years old, eh?
which is crazy. So were you born and raised here?
No, I was born in Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
Okay.
Great. At age of 5, moved to Kelowna with my parents.
Yep.
Age of 15, they wanted to move back. Well, they moved back to Calgary area.
Yep.
I didn't want to go, but being mama's boy,
yep.
I did, yeah.
So me being born and raised here.
Yeah.
I remember growing up and there was a Joey's in West Hills.
Yep.
And my dad loves fish and chips. My brother's deadly allergic to fish.
Yep.
So it was like this, when we would go to the Joey's in West Hills without my brother so he wouldn't die when he walked in the building. But that brand's been around 85. It's just one of those brands that everybody knows.
Yeah. Well, we grew it over the years to 9 stores. I had a great partner, Dave Mossy, who opened 3 up in Edmonton. We had 6 here in Calgary, and then at that time decided to go franchising. Mm-hmm. So in 82, 81, we started franchising.
So that was your number, hey? So when you were kind of 9-ish, then you figured the franchise model was going to be your growth play?
Well, I did a lot of research and, I was really scared of franchising because, again, it takes a certain skill level. It's not timing a burger that flips at a minute or two. Our stuff is all in-house made, so batter, everything else. And you have to watch that kind of stuff. So it takes a bit of skill, but we were able to teach others. Yeah.
And then grew the thing like crazy.
And grew it. Yeah.
So you've seen a few of these shows.
Yes.
I like the guests to go back to where you grew up, how you grew up, what inspired you, what you were interested in, if you played sports, all of it. So I want you to go back to a point in time in your life, where things started to click for you, or how you were brought up, or how you were raised. So go back.
Oh, okay. Well, as I said, I was born in Swift Current, and don't remember much there. I remember though, I was one of those. I'm a middle kid. I have a family of 5 kids, and I was kind of my own mindset there. I remember going to play day at either kindergarten or grade 1, and I hated it. So I walked home, and boy, was there shit to be had with the parents at that time. I remember that. So I always had that mindset, right? So then moved to Kelowna, grew up in Kelowna, great living, right?
From what age to what age?
From 5 to 15.
Okay.
Yeah, moved to Olds at 15.
Okay.
But in Kelowna, we didn't have any money, but we lived right downtown, 6 blocks from the lake, learned how to swim in the lake, just friends and that were great.
Yep.
Didn't do much sports, right? Didn't learn to ski until I was 18. Didn't really play sports, was never active in that. It was funny, I remember at 11 or 12, starting to work with a friend of the family that had a painting company. So I went out one summer and scraped houses. Like that's where I started. Yeah. And everyone knows I've been in the restaurant business for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And they asked me, well, what made you start in the restaurant, or what got you going? And it was, I had a great experience. I think I was 14, had a summer job on the Fantry Queen, which was a boat in Kelowna. Mm-hmm. It was a ferry, and they made it look like a paddle wheeler. And it went out every Friday, Saturday night for dinner, a smorgasbord.
Yep.
And I got to learn in the kitchen. There was 3 of us in the kitchen, 2 young sisters that were the cooks in that. I was the bottle washer.
Yep.
Errand boy, but they taught me a lot. It was just a fun time.
How'd you get that job? random? Did you know somebody, or was it because you're pretty young?
I believe my parents kind of knew the folks from the French Queen, and that's how I got the job. So yeah.
These two sisters, did they teach you things? Did they just let you see things, experience things?
No, they showed me everything. Like they were really, maybe I had the mindset to, what's next? What's next? I mean, I remember learning how to prepare a octopus.
No way.
That was the grossest thing ever.
As a youngster, that's like a young age.
Oh yeah. So you had to boil it for a long time, and then what you do is clean it. And the worst, grossest thing is you turn it around and you poke the head out, and everything comes out of the head. So
that's like
I remember that.
You could like vividly remember that.
Yeah. So, but the sister did real good. In fact, the owners, I worked 2 summers there, and near the end there, the owner even let me run one of the shifts, not on a Friday, Saturday. It was a Monday or something. I remember. So, yeah.
Wild. Why didn't you play sports at a young age?
I was uncoordinated.
Were you
not like my kids, but me? I was uncoordinated, and I hated the pressure. To be honest with you, pressure to perform and help my team out. I mean, yes, I played a little bit of basketball in school, a little bit of soccer, but it was never a team. I love swimming, so I learned swimming in the lake, and that was fun.
Yeah, and obviously, you know why I ask, because you're the one son that I know is a...
Yeah, but my daughters were heavily involved in sports. My daughter won grade 12, the athlete of the year. Yeah.
So they didn't get anything from you?
No. I think it comes from mom, to be honest with you. Yeah.
They got some size from you, but that was it?
That's it, yes. Yeah.
So 15, you moved to
Olds.
Yep.
In fact, my dad, again, I fought with my parents to stay in Kelowna, but like I said, I'm a mama's boy, and mom talked me into
young
coming.
Though too, right?
I was 15, but remember, I worked 14, 15. I thought I had it all, right?
You had all figured out.
Yeah, I can do this myself. In fact, I think I asked my brother, who lived in Kelowna at the time. He's older than me by 5 years, and I asked him if I could, move in. But whatever happened. We moved to Olds. My dad was a car salesman at one of the dealerships, and
So what kind of work were you doing in Olds?
So the very first part-time job was Kentucky Fried Chicken.
No way.
Yeah, they were just opening up. In fact, I had to come to Calgary for training, and then did that. But that lasted maybe, I don't know how long. Not very long.
Yep.
Because again, I worked with others. In my mind, I was working harder. Now, that's just me, so don't. And I asked for a raise. So this was a corporate, I forget what the name of the corporation. They owned a whole bunch of Kentucky Fried Chicken. They came back to me, okay, here's 25 cents. And I said, no, thank you, and left. Then I went to be a gas jockey at one of the local places. Was working always something you needed to do? Were your parents saying it's time to go get a job? Did you like the value of money, or just I don't know about the value of money. I love money. It's good. It gets me things, right? Now currently in my life, it's not money. It's nothing to do with money. Back then, no, my parents never said you need a job. No. I wanted to work. So yeah.
Away you go.
Yeah.
What's happening? So how long were you in Olds for? 15 till?
Well, I moved. I dislike school. So always.
Like elementary, junior high, high school?
Listen, grade, 9, I had to take French. And I was lousy at French. But my neighbor was really good at it, and she taught me. And I went and did a test, and I got just about 100% on that test. The teacher called me a liar, and that was it. I quit French. So moved on to the next thing, right? So, it's just...
What was it about school that just didn't jive with you?
Again, people don't understand this of me. I'm an introvert, really. I force myself to be outgoing. It takes a lot. And in school, I was one of the class clowns, just to relieve the tension, I hate studying. So I just didn't enjoy school at all. So get back to how long I lived in Olds. I finished high school, 17 years old, half a year, right? I think I'm one point less than my diploma. So hopefully, whatever, it doesn't matter. I quit and halfway through grade 12, so whenever that is, December. And then I moved to to Calgary, rented a bachelor pad in Bankview, and went to work for like a college pro. It was called Airy Brothers back then, two brothers that ran a company, painting. Outdoor student painting.
So when you decided to jump out of school, mom and dad, like, it's your choice where you go?
Well, I think they understood me. Yes. So there was, I don't remember any arguments or anything else.
It's so the show is so interesting because I get to sit down with characters like you.
Really? Characters, okay.
Well, but like successful business guys, been doing it for a long time.
Right.
Have experienced a bunch of things, and school just wasn't the thing.
No, not at all.
And it gives me like school. I hated school.
Did you?
And really struggled with it. Like bad marks. Just couldn't figure out how to study. Didn't know what I wanted to do. Like all of it.
Right.
And when you're in those times, you're like, "Fuck, I'm not going to amount to anything, right?
Right.
Because it's school.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, maybe that's how you felt. I felt I could survive in the working world.
It didn't matter. Did you always think that you could find any job, or you were just willing? You knew you had the work ethic to go just figure it out.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I didn't have a problem getting a job. In fact, this painting, it's a funny story. Painting job, I worked it for about 2-3 weeks, and remember, I painted when I was 13, or scraped. So I'm thinking, I'm sure I brushed some stuff.
Brush once,
and at home, of course, painting fences and all that other stuff. But I might have been a month into this job, and I used to work long hours, right, from sun up to sundown.
Yep.
And so I went to them and I said, I can do this myself. So I told the brothers, I said, look, here's your 40 hours notice. I didn't give 2 weeks. I gave 40 hours, right? Well, 80 hours, sorry, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So anyhow, they offered me a little partnership. It didn't work out. The boys didn't know how to run. Now looking back, didn't understand business that well. So, yeah.
So when you, and coming to Calgary, feel like, a big-ish city, did you look at it like opportunities, new beginnings? Like, what were you thinking when you came here? Just get me the hell out. I want to do my own thing.
Well, that's a long time ago. Come on, look at me.
You're not that old.
Come on, I am. I just remember working.
Yep.
Right?
You just work.
Work.
Okay.
And I loved it.
Yep.
Right?
So where does this Calgary path start taking you? What year is this?
Okay, this is, I would have been 17, 18.
Yep.
And 19, when the company failed, I think it was about 19 when it failed, I went back to Olds. I had an apartment there, or a trailer. I forget, trailer or apartment. And went to work for a siding company. And it worked out good. Hayes Brothers, they're still there. They do a great job. And then I got to know, and this is crazy, and people say whatever. My dad forced me into a youth group. That's one thing he did, because he wanted me to meet stuff. Of course, he was a talker, and my wife's current wife's, only wife, but my wife, her family was well known, but her one brother is a talker too. So at the dealership, my dad was talking to Jerry, and Jerry suggested that I come to this youth group. So I did, and that's where I got to know the Lusinks, the family, and then that's where I got to meet my wife.
No way.
Yeah. So, but
do you being an introvert to walk into those youth groups? I'm sure it's not like a super comfortable situation.
No. And they laughed at me because at that time I hated jeans for some reason. I didn't wear jeans.
Me too when I was little. Really? I was little. Like I used to wear long johns under my jeans.
Oh, did you?
Because I thought they were itchy.
Oh, no, that wasn't it. I don't know why. Maybe they didn't fit me. I don't know. Again, we didn't have money growing up. So I remember even once my mom bought me a pair of shoes, and everyone at school made fun of them. They thought they were girl shoes. So anyhow, that's another story. I wore corduroys and they were flared.
Oh yeah.
And in Kelowna, it was okay, but in Olds, it was not okay. So I got
you got roasted.
Yes, I did. So yeah, getting into those things, it's not easy. It's not easy. I'm forcing myself, and even today, I'm forcing myself on not at here, but at different events. Yes.
When you met your wife,
Yes.
did you know?
No.
Just by chance,
it was a family. We got to know the Lusinks and the family. There was 5 boys and 3 daughters at that time, and just got the relationship going over the next few years. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what starts happening? Are you after the siding company? Where are you off to?
Siding company.
Still in Olds.
No, I moved back to Calgary.
Did you after that? Solo, or was your wife with you?
So no, this was when I was, yes, she was, because I got married very young.
We did.
Yeah.
Like 22?
I was 18.
No way.
She was 19.
Oh, crazy.
We're just a couple months apart. Yeah. People say it's crazy, but it's worked out well, wonderful. So,
just fine.
Okay. Anyhow, so yeah, she was with me. She was a production accountant at one of the oil companies.
Yep.
And I did odd jobs, and then the idea of the restaurant came up.
How?
Dad and I were talking about restaurants, and it just came up. So kind of did at that time, probably not a business plan, probably just notes and saying what we wanted to do. And at that time, then I had an uncle out at the west coast on Vancouver Island. He was always a cook and that, so he kind of helped me design a menu and do a few other things, and came to Calgary and signed a lease and went for it.
No way.
Yeah.
And the original concept was fish and chips?
Yeah.
So out of all the different styles of food out there, why did you zero in on that?
Well, so I looked around at restaurants and knew, McDonald's was in burgers and everything. I thought burgers were overdone.
Yep.
I looked at the seafood end of things. It was kind of a niche.
Yep.
There was a few fish and chip places around. But I just thought it was a chance to make it in the restaurants.
And to start, dreaming about doing your own thing, controlling something, starting something. The restaurant, was it a total out of the blue? Is there anything in your background that besides those first couple of jobs?
No, to be honest with you, I think it was a Fenture Queen experience. Yeah.
You enjoyed that kitchen?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, and I think the 2 sisters made it, and the owners of the establishment just made it fun for me. I got to know Ross, which was the father of the owner, and he was a bartender, and he taught me lots too. It was just it was fun. So memory of that.
Yep.
Said, okay, can the restaurant business for me be that?
Okay, so Uncle helps you write the menu.
Yep.
So you get
and then he came and helped me construct.
And where's the first one?
17th Avenue, 1411 17th Avenue.
No way.
Yep.
And what year was that? That was 85?
85. We opened in September, second week in September.
So you remember how many seats, square footage of that place?
Yeah.
Okay, now the memory's back.
I think it was 1,100 square feet, 39 seats. I remember, the landlords were a fund that was managed out of Germany. Great people. I'll tell you a story later on about that one. But they gave me the lease. I went and constructed with my uncle. We put it all together. I mean, and I was kind of sad because I was nervous, real nervous, because I thought my uncle was there to help me open it up. Mm-hmm. And he had to leave for work in September. So I was all alone. So
away you go.
Away you go.
So, and this is it's a very unique story. So what actually starts happening? How do you open this thing? How do you get the word out? What's actually happening the first year?
Yeah, so that was one of the toughest times I've had lots, but that was one of the toughest ones. We opened September 4th. Didn't know what to expect. I hired a cook or a chef, and some kitchen help, but not much at all because we couldn't afford it.
Were you doing front and back, or how was this working?
Okay. Yeah, we did it all. I mean, at that time we didn't even name numbered tables because seats we didn't know. We weren't in the business, but I was young enough, and there was lots of my customers that really wanted to help me out. So there's from my suppliers. Bridgeband used to be my supplier, and one of the guys, he looked like Highliner, and he helped me out, told me about food costs, told me about a bunch of stuff. My customers, Mel from my favorite ice cream shop, he taught me how to really blanch fries, and so everyone wanted me to succeed, and I took that advice, right? So.
And when you open the doors, food quality, was it all dialed, or was it like an ongoing getting better?
I think getting better and better. I mean, we revised our batter a few times. The flavor was good at the beginning, and the process was good. We did a lot of pan frying back there, a lot of grilling of different things. So it worked, I think. I mean, we had to get better. Everyone does, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So year one.
So I'll tell you about the 6th month. So it's Saturday morning.
Do you have any kids yet? When this thing opens?
No, I didn't have a kid till I was 25 or something, something like that. Okay. Anyhow,
still young.
Anyhow, yeah. So waking up on Saturday morning, I look over at Teresa, my wife, and I said, "Should I even go in?" Like, it was that bad. I mean, luckily my wife and a few family members helped me a little bit on keeping the bills away, you know, but it was that bad. So we looked at each other and say, no, let's give it another go. And something happened. I mean, John Gilchrist did a review on us, and I think he was the second one to do a review on his. I don't remember the gentleman's name that did CBC at that time too, did an interview, and it was amazing. That night we ran out of fish. I mean, we were that busy, lined up and everything else, right?
So like waking up and really questioning what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then how, like in a short time frame, you're all of a sudden you're selling out overnight.
Yeah. Well, kind of, yeah. It worked out. I think it's more that if you have the right idea and you really believe in it, you know, don't give up. I've got a little thing on my desk, a little card that says, you know, never give up, right? As long as your thought process and your ideas are right, don't give up. There's just something there, right?
And that something is either it's timing, it's just an experience, something just has to click and then it goes.
Yeah. I've had that happen several times in my life on different ventures.
Do you I don't know how you say it, but it's not like trusting the universe, but is it trusting yourself that you're working towards a spot that you know that's going to be the right spot, or like it's an interesting way to look at it, because you're like you're good product, you know, all the checks, right? Good service, good product, all these things, work ethic, it's all there. There's still a restaurant. You know the restaurant better than most.
Yeah.
The success rate is...
I think just having faith in yourself, faith in, if you're religious, faith in God or whoever you believe, just having that faith, right? And really executing it, right? Again, like I said, that Saturday morning could have been it. We could have just locked the doors and be done. But even after that, you know, the landlord came back, I forget, early spring, and said, "Hey, we never gave you any TI money. Would you like some TI money to pay for the things that you did?" Like, I never knew that was available in leases, right? But that's the kind of help I got, right? Like, no landlord would do that ever. I mean, I'm a landlord and I don't think I'd ever do that. But they came after the fact and gave me some money for what I did. So
it doesn't happen.
I don't think so, but something happened in my life, right?
So what starts happening? Once the doors are open, you're kind of, you're getting over this hump, getting good reviews.
Yeah.
People start to figure it out. You're selling out.
Yep.
What's going on?
Yeah, we had lineups out the door. It was a great time. I get bored.
Interesting.
Sorry. And that's been my life. I just get bored I don't know why.
Yep.
But I do. So I look
thing's
for the
running
next
great?
thing. Yeah.
Things running great,
good.
making money.
Yeah.
Got everything kind of figured out, food costs, blah, blah, blah.
I remember I was very frustrated though, because in my life, in the restaurant business, I went from babysitting it's bad. I'm so sorry, but looking after employees, looking after managers, looking after franchisee.
Yep.
It's a different mindset. And I was having frustration. We were working full time there, 7 days a week, and I wanted a day off finally. And that's the day we get complaints from our customers. It's just frustrating. So again, what started happening is we got busier and busier, and then I looked at another location.
Yep.
Now, again, remember, I'm young, I'm naive and everything else. So, mistakes were made, but we did open another location. That was in Saskatoon. I had some bad advice. Doesn't matter. I opened it, tried to get it going, and I think we closed about a year later. But during that time also, I got location on McLeod. That was in '88. Remember the Olympics there. And then we opened Crowchild, and then we opened McLeod again, another one on McLeod, and then one in Northeast. And then Dave Mossy came at one of my locations and said, I want to be involved. He was a property manager. So he asked me, we partnered up and did 3. We said, okay, let's open 3 in Edmonton. So we did.
When you're growing it, obviously there's a stumble in Saskatchewan.
Yep.
And then Calgary starts, you're putting up locations.
Yep.
Are you doing it on, where's the business savvy coming from? Where is it? Is it trusting yourself and seeing that you could duplicate things? Or
okay, number one, I've learned, and it took me a while to trust others. Even micromanaging, people think I do it, like my employees might think I do it, but I'm not. I just want to make sure they're getting and succeeding. If they can succeed, then leave them alone, let them do their job, because I would never be where I am today if it was just me. Yeah. Sorry, it would never be that way. Yeah. So again, just, we had 6 out of Calgary, out of the 6 stores, we had 4 great ones and 2 not well ones. So I just had to learn. But again, I listened to other people, right? I think I told you earlier that, my office door is always open. I've had so many people with business ideas come and talk. Of course, they want money, investment, but they come and say, okay, this is what we're doing, which is great. Yeah. Right.
And so as you're putting out these locations, it's feeling good, like it's keeping you energized, interested, because there's new experiences, new challenges.
So that's what everyone asks me, what keeps you motivated? And it's that shiny thing, the newest thing. I just follow it. Right?
It's that simple.
It's that simple. Yeah, it is. It is that simple. And again, if you grow the company with great people, like I have, man, you can do so much. And they're motivated. Right or wrong, my employees stick around. I mean, my longest term employee, head of accounting, she's been with me just about 30 years. I've got, my purchaser, my buyer, my sales guys, they've been with me a long time. And they have not lost their motivation either. So it's quite fascinating. Yeah.
So when do things start? What starts happening after you do Edmonton, Calgary's at 6?
Yeah, so then I started trying to learn about franchising. So I went to a conference.
What were you, who are the examples you were looking at that were doing like the franchise model properly?
Oh, that I couldn't tell you who.
You're just thinking franchise?
Yeah, franchise. Okay. Understanding that, you can grow faster with other people's money to do the asset purchasing, right? Yep. Our idea is to save our franchisee. If they were to open one themselves, first of all, we give them all the steps, and we save them money on cost, food costs, so on and so forth. So
it's a win-win.
right? That's how we make our royalties.
Yep. So you go to conferences, you're trying to figure this out, and then
and then I was scared of the sales end of things, and that's where I asked Mr. Mossy, Dave, my partner, who's been with me since 91, 92.
Still?
Yeah. He's a great guy. We've done lots together.
Okay.
Lots of stuff. I've got several partners in other businesses too. I like partners as long as it works out. I've lost a few, but that's okay. So Dave and I when I decided to franchise, I said, okay, here's a plan. Come and you do the sales and others, right? I was really thinking to bring Dave in to take over a lot of the stuff so I could take some time off. But that wasn't it, so that's okay. In fact, I moved my family out to Kelowna, and Teresa and 3 kids. No, I had 2 kids. We had one born in Kelowna, but we were only there for 15 months because work just kept me going. And again, Kelowna, I couldn't go places. I had to come back to Calgary and fly out from there.
Yep.
And when I came to Kelowna, I had worked at this office for a while. So I was away, it was not a good time for the family. So we lasted 15 months and moved back to Calgary.
Came back.
Yeah.
So the sales piece, hiring him, he was out there to find new franchisees.
Yeah.
build.
At that time, we were building up word of mouth, right? Word of mouth sells the best in any business, right? So we had that comment from our customers all the time. I mean, are you going to franchise? Can I buy one? Can I do this? And our growth at the beginning when we started franchising was large.
Quick.
Right? Quick. In fact, it was so quick. We had it's another funny story, but talking about being bored or shiny little thing. We had a seafood distributor. We had Bridge Brand, and then we had a seafood distributor, a local one. They did a wonderful job for us, but they became uncompetitive. So this is what happens is when I thought they were my friends and that didn't work out that way. Of course, everyone's got their story, but mine goes, I went to them and said, look, we're going to have to do something. You're going to have to do something with prices. You're uncompetitive and I'm getting slack from franchisees, which that's the whole business, right? And they looked at me and said, no. And I said, oh, okay. I probably was a few other words, but that's okay. Went back to thinking, and that's when I brought in my own purchaser to look for our own seafood supply. Realized that we were doing really well, and we started trading. We started trading fish and making money. So I said, that's a business. So over 12 years ago, brought in a great guy, Tom Grande, and he developed a business like you wouldn't believe. I mean, 12 years ago, our business was 75% Joey's and 25% others. Yep. Today, it's less than 5% Joey's, because Tom has developed quite the business, and it's great.
You just saw it, right? You see an opportunity. And
so I see opportunity, right? Yep. And throughout my life, some opportunities work, some don't. You know.
And and the ones that sitting in the back, sitting from the outside, right?
Yeah.
We see the ones that work, right? Well, you know what I mean? We see the ones that.
Well, Teresa always says, isn't it so great? Everyone says how successful I am. Like it was overnight success, right?
Yeah. Like there was no work behind the scenes, no failures.
Yeah. No.
So when that exponential growth is going on,
yes.
Does it feel, obviously there's a lot of shiny objects around.
Yep.
It's easy for you to chase things because there's a bunch of things going on. Did you have thoughts of like what this thing turns into, how big it gets or how far it goes across the country?
So of course, in my mind, I had my own goals, right?
Yep.
My own business thoughts on how it's going to grow, So that worked out good.
Yep.
I mean, we grew it to well over 100 locations.
Which is a big-ass number, isn't it?
It is, but looking back, I think we did we slowed. I'm one for getting stuff done right away, and I think sometimes we slow ourselves down. We think too much. Once you have something good, you can duplicate it pretty fast. right?
And sorry, and with my, so I told you off camera, like I got a restaurant. I worked in the restaurant business for a long time. And what's interesting is you scale something.
Yep.
And if it's all like from scratch, all these things.
Yeah.
And you take that to 100. That's a lot of work, a lot of training, a lot of checks, a lot of balance. Like
it is, but you try to find the best people to help you.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
And don't think you can do it all yourself, because there's no way.
Yeah. When you do you allow yourself to reflect back on all these years and the things that have been that we go 1 to 100? Do you think about it very often?
Of course I do.
You do?
Of course. And I think I look at the mistakes that were had, not so much of all the successes. It's what can you tweak to make it better.
Yeah.
So that's what I do, right? I mean, I had some silly things in my life, and again, maybe things were going too well.
Yeah.
But I did sapphire mining in Madagascar. I did water drilling in Tanzania. I mean, stupid stuff. I mean, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But over the last 10 years, things have really focused for me. I've taken all that stuff away and said, no, what are the key items that I have to do to grow the business even more?
Yeah.
Now, again, I told you at the beginning, maybe it was money, right?
Yeah.
But now it's not. It's the venture. It's just seeing what the possibilities are.
What where does streets come into this equation? and so
Well, I think Michael told you, but I'll tell you again if you want.
I heard his fucking bullshit. So
no.
But so
he tells it pretty good.
So Joey's is a brand. He's doing his thing.
Yeah. So of course it was doing it, but costs were going up. Construction costs were going through the roof. And again, I want success for people. I think that's my life is I want to see success. If an employee wants to leave and go on, that's okay. Great. As long as you're successful, go for it. Yeah. So on with Joey's too, I was finding that the costs were too high and no way could a franchisee be successful. So we kind of put a hiatus on selling. Like we really looked for a deal before we would do it, whereas other companies grew no matter what. No, we took a hiatus. So we looked at our business and at that time we said, okay, our population is aging and Joey's customers are older, right? Loving fish and chips and great. I can't thank the customers that we have and loyal. Because again, we've had franchisees take over stores and they ruin the stores. We do our best to keep them. We get them to sell. Guess what? The sales go right back up. So that means our customers really like our product. It just has to be executed right. So, but to get back to Joey's, our audience was aging, and how could we bring younger people in? So we determined that maybe a quick service, counter service, fish and chip place. Again, as I said, a lot of people, it's like the explorers. Some of the explorers would come over, they get their guys on the shore and they say, okay, we're here to stay. And they burn the ship, right? Well, I didn't burn the ship at that time. And so we called it Joey's Urban. Fish and chips. A bit people didn't know. They kind of knew it was Joey's because I could always I always thought, I'd fall back on Joey's, the success. So that didn't work. So it brought sales up, but we couldn't get above a certain point. And we determined, it was the name. Name and somewhat of the concept. So that's where Streets came in. So we rebranded it to Streets. And I won't say overnight success, but it came pretty fast. Our age of our age at Joey's average, I'll say 45 and up. Urban, maybe we came down a little bit. But with Streets, we were 18 to 30. It's unbelievable.
When you think about these things, like when your business is in that kind of spot and you're seeing things that you have to change. Is it is it leveraging your team to get insights and listen, and then coming up with new ideas, or how does it all? Because it's
oh, sorry.
No, it's like it seems like a pivotal moment.
Yep.
You got to figure something out and go.
So, but you might have that idea, or I might have that idea. This is the best thing since sliced bread. But if you can't sell it to your people, it's just not going to work. And I've proven that many times. And that's what we try to do with our franchisees too. We don't push, and maybe that's a fault. Maybe that's my big fault in life, that we don't just say, we're the king, you just do what we tell you. Yeah. No, we don't like doing that. I don't like doing that with employees either. I try to get their idea. Of course, it comes down to me or us, the head of the companies, to determine this stuff. But we try to sell ourselves, right?
Yeah.
On ideas, new ideas, right?
So the Streets play.
Yep.
Streets is like a how do you taco shop? How do you like street food?
See, I don't want to call it taco shop, but it's whatever's hot in street. Yes, we've got some favorites. I mean, our fish tacos, one of the top seller. Yep. Mango shrimp. Our burritos are going great. Our bowls are going great. But again, with the team, and it's not me, they did a smash burger. Unbelievable. Killing it. So how can we bring that into the system? Yep. So I mean, we've had our discussions with landlords that you're a taco or a burrito place. So we might not get that space because our competition is similar. Right. So we have to make ourselves different than others. Yeah.
So this might get a little awkward, but
okay.
The working with your son.
Yeah.
What does that even, what does that even feel like? What does that, did you, you have 5 kids?
Yep.
5 kids. You're growing this business, it's become a thing.
Yeah.
Are you looking at your kids and be like, I wonder if one of these fine children would ever, come work with dad and potentially look at the business. So I don't know if your other 4, I just know obviously the guy I know.
Yeah. I have 2 daughters and their mothers, and one's a teacher, and they've got 5 grandkids for me, and Michael's got 1, and I'm expecting my 7th, 8th grand.
Crazy.
Child. So it's exciting. So, I've watched other families who, not force, but really bring their kids into this, at a young age to work. I never did that. I want them to make up their own minds, right? And of course, Michael, had the football career, unbelievable. And I knew he had a mindset for business, though. So how can I work with him? I don't really, because I let others do it, right? I don't want to interfere. I didn't hire him. My people hired him. Yeah, probably had to, but that's okay. That's okay. I just, last name. But I've got some other great people that run. I'm not letting Mike take over that stuff. He's learning the stages, and whether he wants to do this or do something else, just like my other kids, I'll support him. So if he didn't want to do this, okay, what do you want to do? Let's go on. Yeah. So, but it hasn't been hard. I mean, I think our frank discussions sometimes, his mindset is going like he's the idea man. He's a promoter, and which I love. Yeah. I wish I had that skill when I was young. It would have made it easier, right? But I'm just letting him go. So he was in operations. He still is kind of on operations. He's taking kind of a head lead in marketing. Yep. Who knows what's next for him? So it hasn't been hard.
Do you, his personality?
Yep.
He's not an introvert.
No.
So his skill set and the way you like to operate, it's an interesting mix.
If I'm to say anything, and because he's going to hear this,
that's where I'm going with this. Yeah,
I'm afraid he's going to find a better idea and take off with it, which is okay. Like I said, I've got lots of people in the wings, and they're doing a fabulous job.
Yeah.
So let them keep on running with the company. I mean, I've looked at lots of entrepreneurs, and they've bought and sold, bought and sold, bought and sold. I've never really done that, right or wrong. That's what I've never done. I mean, I had chances to sell the franchise.
Yeah.
I've had chances to sell TJ's, which is another company, land and buildings and that. We just haven't done that.
Why is that? It's an interest, like,
Well, again, it's, I make fun of, I don't make fun. I look at, different cultures, how they live their lives to make their kids' life better.
Right.
I think we've done that, but money-wise, it doesn't matter, right? So there's no real pressure on me to make their lives better.
Right.
I'm sure it's gonna be successful for them.
Yeah.
But they're doing all right, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So the buy and hold and develop and build. It's just like, it's just.
Yeah, but smart or wrong, right? What is it? I mean, could have made our money and then moved on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But all I've done is moved on to the next thing.
Yeah. And just continue to go forward.
Right.
Which is an interesting segue. As a successful business owner,
Yeah.
multiple businesses, that, like, how does it all happen? Is it vision? Is it good people? Is it innovation? Like, what's the drive that keeps this thing going?
Well, what drives me, I told you, is the newest, shiniest thing.
And literally,
So, but again, I learned from people, right? It's not just being, if you stay within your own thing, like if I was just had the one restaurant, I'm sure I'd be very successful in my own way.
Yeah.
But would that fulfill my life? I don't think so. Right? So it's for me, it's just I have to learn from others. And that's what I've done.
Yeah.
Right? And then my motivation is to make others successful.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you find, this is going to be random, do you find being an introvert that you listen? Do you listen more? Do you listen?
I don't talk that much. Like, this is the most talking I do. My wife comments on it all the time. She's the talker, which I love.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just not. So she wants a reaction from me. She doesn't get it. She tell me stuff, and I said, "Was that a question or what?" So, and I just love being around people that keep the conversation going.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll share.
Yeah.
But yeah, I listen a lot.
And then you just pick up on little things. And you're like,
I think so.
there's-
I think so. The whole thing in my life, I think, is thinking outside the box. I know that's cliche, but that's what I do. I mean, and nothing against, I've got great lawyers and accountants and that, but their schooling teaches them one thing, and you just have to ask the right question, right? Can we do it this way? Can you do it? Can you see what happens here? And guess what? The answer does come out. So, and that's what we do around our company, right? How can we work with that broker? How can we use this product, right?
Do you look at the future? Do you look at like a 5-10 year? Do you have a plan for 5-10 years, or is it kind of?
Yeah, now I do.
Is that a change?
That's a change.
Recent change, or like what's the driver behind that?
Yeah, it's the last couple of years.
Yeah, just like
I don't know, because I don't think I'm gonna be around forever.
Yep.
Am I ever gonna retire? No. It'll always be something. But I've got the pressure, or I feel the pressure of making sure the people around me are not well looked after. That's the wrong word. Just able to continue without me. So how can I make that happen? So that's what I've done. So there's the two companies, and we've just restructured franchising a bit. So we're going to start looking for new ventures in franchising. We've got the 2 brands now, and we've changed Joey's. It used to be Joey's only, and then Joey's Seafood, and now it's Joey's Fish Shack. So we'll just change it because, again, we're how old? 30-some years? Yeah. Anyhow.
Which is crazy to say out loud.
Yeah. And Streets, we're continuing, but there's other opportunities out there with great brands that might not have the opportunity to franchise, but we think we can help them. So give me about 6 months and we'll start growing that with a company I call TJ's. It used to be TNJ, but now it's TEJ. Because it's TEJA, but that's okay. That company, what I'm doing is buying new companies, amalgamating them, growing something. So I've got a 5-year plan. At that time, I'll determine what to do with it. Right? We'll determine whether we sell, go public, or continue.
Yep.
Right?
And that change to actually have that plan, it feels.
I think so.
Feels like it gives you something to work towards, or like a push, or.
I think it's a push.
Yeah.
It's a push and a focus. Again, I think I told you I'm not a focused person.
Shiny.
Yeah. Get me going on ideas, and everything's a great idea. You know?
Yeah. This has been really cool.
Well, thank you.
I think, I think just growing up with your brand for all these years and actually sit down with the guy that started it.
Well, thank you.
It's a really cool experience.
Thank you.
And like we talked about off camera, there's so many interesting characters in Calgary.
There is.
That have been wildly successful, that do great things. So I really enjoyed this one.
Good.
I end the show with one question.
Yep.
When I say Calgary, where's your head go?
Opportunity. It's always been opportunity, right? I mean, I started my business, and just like Bernard Kelbo said, he started in a recession, and I think interest rates were 18% and all that crap, right? So, but opportunity, and that's what you have to do, is always look for it. But this city is what, 1.6 million now? It's growing. They're talking about recession. They're talking about with my friends in business, we don't see that. And are we going to see it? I don't think so. With proper government, if we can keep them on focus of making sure that we change as the world changes, but we've got resources here, and we've got business heads that are doing wonderful things. So I think opportunity. Yeah, Calgary's always been that for me, and I love it.
It seems like you can come up with ideas, and you can just go with it.
Yeah, and Calgary's such a hub, right?
Yeah. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
This is I don't even know if I'll get the chance to have another father-son connection on the Calgary Sessions, but I'm gonna throw it out there. Maybe somebody's got another awesome father-son connection. But this was really cool. So thank you once again.
Well, thank you for the time.